Hi everybody. A lot of people have been asking me to kind of take a look at Twilight the graphic novel. I had actually known about this for a while now, but I actually wasn't going to let it bother me because to me, it's not real manga. But, I kept getting, answer questions about it. Are you going to do a review? Um, we want to hear about it, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Actually, nobody ever typed that. So I finally kind of took a look at a few pages, and as I was looking at this artwork, something just was not right. I looked. I kept on looking at these pieces of art, and something just didn't look right. And then I realized these character designs have absolutely no life whatsoever. Now, I know she's trying to um, depict something that is supposedly dead, but that's no excuse. The faces, the poses, it's lifeless. It's absolutely bland. And you know what? Just to give you an example. Now, I'm not the greatest artist in the world. I don't pretend to be. But here is a picture of a vampire that I drew like 3, 4 years ago, maybe even longer. This is a vampire character that I came up with, that I drew way before Twilight even came out. And I'm very proud of this picture, which is why it's still on my wall, but I need to retape it. But, I mean, the curve of the back and the way he's looking over the shoulder and the hatching on the face, I mean, I put a lot of effort into making it interesting. These characters, I mean, and this goes back to one of my complaints that I never really addressed in any of my videos, is that the character designs are not aesthetically pleasing at all, even in the books. What I mean by that is, I am a huge anime fan. I go to conventions all the time. Because of that, I like to cosplay. The way I judge, partly judge a story or an anime or a manga or whatever, is if they would make a good costume. Almost all of the characters in the Twilight series are not aesthetically pleasing at all. They are completely and absolutely just bland. I don't care how many times she tries to express how utterly and wonderfully beautiful Edward is. He is a bland looking character. There is nothing particular that makes him stand out. Their hair color and length, maybe. There's no real depth in their looks, which I suppose is kind of weird, but where's their nose? How are their cheeks? Are they sunken in? Are they kind of chubby? Is their chin pointed? How tall are they? How broad are their shoulders? How thin is their waist? Do they have a big bust? Do they have a small bust? Um, if they're a guy, do they have a barrel chest? How big are their hands? Perhaps the only character that looked decent, and this is not even in the graphic novel, I'm talking about the image that she portrayed in the book, was probably Jacob. That was only because he was a guy with long hair. So I guess I can't blame the artist for making these characters look dead and plain and uninteresting. But what I can blame her for is the poses. Really? The poses are just, they're terrible. They're sitting like this. They're sitting like this. Sitting like this. You know, I mean, it's so rigid. There's no loose mechanics in it at all. I guess I'm blabbling? Blabbling! It's a new word! I guess I'm blabbering on a bit, but I mean, like I said, I'm not the most amazing artist in the world. I'm not the most amazing author in the world, but okay, the detail is fine. The facial structure, great. The hair, wonderful. The poses suck. The faces, not the facial structure, but the faces suck. When you are drawing a character, two of the biggest elements are the way their face looks, because it is the most expressive thing on the body, yeah, go figure, and the way they're positioned, because that pose can say even more than their face. Oh, and the angles. The angles of the frames are just, the framing itself is very straight and rigid, and it's just they're very cold drawings, and not cold like a creepy good way. I mean cold like detached, just uninteresting drawings. I don't even hate them. They're just okay. The artist can draw a human form. What she cannot draw, body language, human nature. She can't portray that on paper. She can't. So those are my thoughts on the graphic novel. Yeah. So that was a quickie. Bye.